So can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't need this.
You do.
I do. Fine. Is it better?
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Pastor, for a very lovely introduction. And I really appreciate the invite. And I think it's a little bit appropriate that Pastor Mochi's not here because she made Pastor call to invite me because she knows Pastor is your favorite. Say yes to Pastor. So I think it's appropriate that she's not here. So and further, I appreciate Pastor behind her back, but I appreciate both of you. You have been there for both me and my family over the decades, actually. So I appreciate you. By way of personal introduction, I don't think I need much because almost everybody here is a sister, a brother. It is good to be here with all of you today. And for those of you that I don't know, my name is Bumila Iwaju. I am a sister to a lot of people here and a daughter to Pastor, and he asked me to come and talk about some general medical topics today. My husband's here. After God, I think he's the singular reason my crazy life works, and I thank him. And unfortunately, our daughters could not be here today. By way of professional introduction, I think the only reason why they asked me here, because I really not a pastor or a preacher or a talker, is I practice emergency medicine and I practice internal medicine. Prior to going to medical school, I went to Rutgers. I went to Rutgers and graduated in Rutgers. After my bachelor's, I got a master's degree in what's now Rutgers Medical School. Back then, it used to be UMDNJ. I got a master's degree in molecular genetics, microbiology, and immunology. I went to medical school, and most people here know that I went to medical school with 3 kids and a husband, and all of those accompanying all those things that you have to do with all of that. And I remember multiple times crying in our big auditorium, and Sam, which is like, auditorium, you know, why should I do it? When you take out your mouth, where's the shit? I'm just so tired, I want to go home. Shut the room, but how your mom away? That's why we can talk about her behind the back. But then after medical school, I went to residency, and I went into residency not really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew there were a lot of different things that I wanted to do, and I was trying to find something that would let me be able to do all of those things. And in finding something that would help me do all the things that I wanted to do over time, I decided to do a combined residency in emergency and internal medicine that was 5 years long. So after that decision was made, and I think that when I went to medical school, my husband thought I was going to be a pediatrician and do a 3-year residency. But after that decision was made, I think that obviously I wouldn't be standing here today if he hadn't supported me through all of it. So when they asked me to talk about general health topics, like this is not supposed to be an in-depth visit with your doctor or anything like that you would get from your doctor's office. This is just something to have in the back of your mind as we live our daily lives and think about the importance of some of the things that we do, some of the things that we don't do, and some of the things that we should do in order to optimize our health and this one life that God has given us. And whoever said health is wealth, I'm not quite sure who said it. I was going to look it up. It is true. It's not biblical, but someone said it. But it is really true because we take, and I say we because we take for granted the good health that we have and the fact that we can get up and the fact that we can go and the fact that we do all the things that we want to do and not really put into mind the things that's happening in our bodies for our bodies to function like that and for us to be able to do the things that we do. I will flip through my papers because clearly I'm not a pastor, but I will flip through because there are just some things I don't want to forget to say. What the first thing that I want to say is when we talk about health and prevention, the biggest thing we want to do, we want to prevent disease. And when I say disease, I'm not talking about a particular disease. I'm talking about disease in the literal use of the term, like disease, like when your body's not at ease. That's where the word disease comes from. So when I say disease, I'm not talking about a particular disease. I'm just talking about an alteration of your body from the baseline of ease. So anything that takes us away from that ease. Prevention is something that happens, is something that we do at our baseline, where there is nothing wrong. We are living our best lives in our 20s. We have no medical problems. Smoking cessation, making sure you don't start smoking. If you smoke, making sure you cut down, stop smoking. Get into the habit of having regular exercise. Mass, that's easier than if you have metastatic breast cancer and you don't catch it. So that's secondary prevention. If you have colon cancer in a little part of your colon, it's easier to treat and manage than if you have metastatic colon cancer. That's secondary prevention. You want to make sure, this is subclinical disease, you want to make sure you catch things before they go bad. Tertiary prevention is something that's already happened. It's happened, and now all we're doing is mitigating the effects of that thing. So, someone has a stroke, someone has a bad heart attack. After that's happened, the things that you do to mitigate the effects of that, so intense physical therapy, intense occupational therapy, time spent in rehab, things like that, it's tertiary prevention. Obviously, we want to be in the always doing primary prevention camp, but it's important to know that regardless of the stage you're in, there's still things that you could do to make sure that things don't get as bad as they can be. And so specifically asked me to talk about hypertension and this. Oh, it's okay. She specifically asked me to talk about hypertension, and she asked me to talk about diabetes. I'm not quite sure why she picked those two things, but that's what she asked me. Diabetes is, not diabetes, hypertension first. Hypertension, also called high blood pressure. People call it a whole bunch of different things. You have patients who, I'm sure, there'll be people who call it my pressures, the pressures, the high blood pressure, a lot of people call it different things. But essentially it's high blood pressure. It's referred to as a silent killer because we can have high blood pressure and not know. You can have high blood pressure and just go through your life. If you're not checking your blood pressure, you don't know. What's happening though is that all the blood vessels in your body is seen. So I wish I had a picture, but if you have like a pipe, like a garden hose, and you turn on your faucet and water's coming out, you're watering your plants, if you do that, watering your plants and whatever, water's coming out at a normal flow rate. Garden hose is fine, everybody's doing okay, you're watering your plants and moving through life. If, however, someone goes, one of the kids, because it's always kids, we've always been kids because they're in Sunday school, so one of the kids goes to the tap and turns on that tap to full blast, and you don't have the good hose from Lowe's, you have the dollar store one, and then that pump is seeing an increased blood pressure. That's what high blood pressure is. So all the blood vessels in your body, instead of seeing a pressure of about 110, but 70, 120, now you're seeing pressures of like 160, 170, and the vessels are like, we can do it, we can handle it, and keep pumping blood out, because this is what I do. I'm a blood vessel, I have to take blood out. Over time, they get tired. The walls of that blood vessel, things start to happen to it. It leads to narrowing of those blood vessels, and then the water or the blood that's coming out of the blood vessels start to reduce, and that's when you start to get the effects of high blood pressure. And at some point, sometimes you may have the vessel completely close up because it's like, I can't take this anymore, it's too much. And then it closes up. And then you get a stroke, or your kidneys fail. Blood pressure. Oh, who was that? I love this place. Process which is like thickening of your blood vessel walls. If you lead to congestive heart failure, the same way it leads to congestive
congestive heart failure is like your heart starts to fail, your kidneys can fail, you can get chronic kidney disease, you can start to see changes in your eyes. Because the picture of the blood vessels carrying blood to your eyes are very, very, very small. And when you have small changes in them, then you'll have problem. Then people have blood changes in the blood vessels. Oh God, I forget. Changes in the blood vessels going to their legs and their toes, and then you start to lose little function in your toes also. To diagnose blood pressure, it's not just like one time you took a blood pressure and it's 115, like I have high blood pressure, you measure this. No. The blood pressure can be high. Like your blood pressure can be intermittently high for different things. My blood pressure is probably very high now because it's very different. And back to my normal. That's not high blood pressure. Your blood pressure is high in the doctor's office, but it's not high at home. Then it's really not high pressure. You may have something called white coat hypertension. That means that when you go to the doctor's office or when you're in the hospital,